Makakasama natin ngayong araw si Attorney Michael Q. Attorney Michael, are you here?
Hi, yes. Good afternoon to everybody.
Attorney, una pong tanong, pinaliwanag natin yung sa threshold kasi yan yung isa sa mga magiging malaking tanong pagdating dito sa impeachment trial ni Vice President Sara Duterte. Ano ba ang sinasabi ng konstitusyon at applicable ba dito yung sinasabi nga natin na Avellino Doctrine?
Right. So the Constitution says na hindi ang conviction ay kailangan ng concurrence, no, o affirmative vote ng 2/3 of all the members of the Senate, no. So hindi sinasabi ng Constitution na ang mga miyembro lamang na nasa floor or mga miyembro, hindi kasama yung mga miyembro na nakakulong, walang kwalifikasyon yon. As long as member ka, kasama ka sa bilang. So in that case, 24 yung base number at 16 yung kailangan kasi yun ang 2/3. In the case of Avellino, I also agree with the view. Ang kasi yung Avellino, ang kanyang niresolba lamang ay yun bang nangyari sa session matapos mag-walk out ang mga senador na halos kalahati ng mga present is still a valid session, no? Ang sabi ng court doon, yes, kasi kahit na mas mababa yung number sa absolute majority, iba ang counting ng house. Each house is different, no? So it can be a smaller number for purposes of quorum. Now, it can still apply to an impeachment court for purposes of counting whether there is a quorum or there is a sufficient number of senators who are present as senator judges. But it does not apply to the question of how to count the votes. Kasi ang Constitution may ibang rule for the votes, which is yung 2/3 votes of all its members.
Mm-hmm. So, if possible po ba yun na magkaroon ng changes during the impeachment trial, let's say changes in the rules, or talagang napakalinaw nung sinasabi ng konstitusyon na ito talaga yung numero regardless kung mayroon ng mga senador na hindi makakadalo sa ating impeachment trial proper?
Yes, para sa akin malinaw yung sinasabi ng konstitusyon na all its members. No, of course, alam natin na posible pa ring merong question na i-raise at in fact, dati akala natin sobrang linaw ng forthwith, no? So pero nabago iyon, no? So maaari pa rin siyang mangyari, pero para sa akin mahirap sigurong baliin yung sinasabi ng all its members kasi nga as long as miyembro ka ng Senado, no, which is what the Constitution says, kasama ka dapat sa bilang.
Meron po ba sinasabi ang ating konstitusyon naman or ang ating mga batas dito sa ating bansa regarding naman doon sa kung sino ba yung magpe-preside doon sa mga impeachment trial natin, no? Because I understand, magkaiba kasi attorney, no, yung what the Constitution says, tapos meron pa tayong titingnan na Senate rules. That should be aligned din naman doon sa Constitution. But meron po bang nababanggit tungkol naman doon sa who should preside the impeachment trial?
So ang tanging sinasabi lang ng Constitution ay kung ang nililitis ay ang presidente ng Pilipinas, ang presiding officer niyan ay ang Chief Justice. So wala siyang binabanggit na kung ibang impeachable officer ang nililitis, kung sino ang presiding officer. Sa Senate rules, ang sabi nila ay Senate President. Pero alam naman natin na ang Senate rules ay kayang baguhin ng mayorya at any point in time kasi hindi yun pinapakialaman kasi mga rules yun ng body mismo, no? Meron silang independence from the judiciary and the executive and even from the House. So if they decide to change the rules and may ibang mag-preside na hindi Senate President, that can also happen because the majority could make that decision, which I understood they made when they passed an amendment earlier or maybe last month about who can be the presiding officer. But as I am hearing today, it seems like it is the Senate President who will sit as the presiding officer for this trial.
Isa sa mga possible scenarios na tinitingnan natin, attorney, ay yung posibilidad na mag-resign na lamang si Vice President Sara Duterte. Ano yung implication na maaaring gawin should the Vice President opt to resign instead before magkaroon ng desisyon sa impeachment trial niya.
Yes. So, maraming implikasyon. Unang-una at pinakamalaki is titigil yung trial. No? Kasi pinakapunto ng impeachment trial, and in fact, the ultimate penalty is pagtatanggal sa pwesto ng taong na-convict. No? Yung impeachable officer na na-convict. Yun yung pinaka-penalty. So, if wala nang tatanggalin sa pwesto kasi umalis na sa pwesto yung impeachable officer, wala na ding punto yung paglilitis, no? Magiging functus officio siya doon nga sa sinabi ng Supreme Court doon sa trial din ni dating Pangulong Estrada. Ngayon, merong mga komplikasyon tulad ng, so of course, that also means na kahit na tumigil yung trial, impeachment trial, ay hindi naman immune sa mga kaso ang impeachable officer kung hindi ka presidente in this case, no, or kung nag-resign ka, hindi wala ka na sa posisyon. But in this particular case, hindi rin immune talaga ang vice president even if nasa posisyon siya. So, pwede pa rin siyang kasuhan ng mga kriminal na kaso tulad ng halimbawa plunder or graft and corruption or bribery na isa sa mga grounds doon sa impeachment articles of impeachment, no? So, that's also the implication. The other implication is kung matigil yung trial, baka walang pagkakataon na magpataw, na first ma-convict at magpataw ng penalty yung impeachment court ng perpetual disqualification from office. So yun ang isa sa mga implikasyon.
So kapag nag-resign si Vice President Sara Duterte, wala na talagang opportunity na magkaroon ng to check her guilt and ultimately magpataw ng parusa against her. Tama po ba yun? Kasi may mga nabasa ako na kahit daw mag-resign si Vice President Sara Duterte, tuloy pa rin yung impeachment trial.
Sa tingin ko hindi kasi anong punto niya? Right? Ang punto ng impeachment ay magtanggal ng opisyal sa posisyon. Yun yung penalty. Yung perpetual disqualification from public office ay additional penalty lamang na pwedeng ipataw or pwedeng hindi ipataw ng Senado after. Pero ang pinaka-reason bakit ka nag-i-impeachment trial ay to convict so that you can remove from office. So kung wala ka nang i-remove kasi nag-resign na, anong reason? Bakit pa nag-i-impeachment trial? That's without prejudice kasi pwede naman siyang kasuhan ng ibang kasong kriminal at civil kahit na tumigil yung impeachment trial. Pero the impeachment trial itself will be made functus officio, which in the case of former President Estrada, yun yung sinabi ng Supreme Court nung nag-walk out yung prosecutors at effectively nag-resign si dating Pangulong Estrada kasi umalis siya ng Malacanang at yung mga letters niya, expression niya to the public is effective resignation, wala nang dahilan na maglilitis pa ng impeachment kasi umalis na siya sa pwesto.
Now, attorney, no, if we look at history, yung dito sa impeachment trial, let's say, ni dating Presidente Joseph Estrada, no, yung pag-collapse ng impeachment trial niya nag-contribute sa constitutional crisis. Would you say that eventually led to EDSA, no? Would you say that yung current natin ngayon, we have enough safeguards to ensure na hindi mauulit yung ganitong klaseng institutional breakdown?
I think you can look at it differently. Yes, we have the same constitution as the constitution during Estrada's trial, pero to me it's not a negative thing, no? Na because it is both legal and political, no? So pwede talagang may mga desisyon yung impeachment court na hindi mag-agree ang prosecutors and might push them to do the same thing as the Estrada prosecutors had done before, which is to walk away. No, of course, hopefully not, because hopefully we expect fair decisions from the impeachment court. No, so but I don't think it was a necessarily bad thing na tumigil ang trial at ang taong bayan ang nagpunta sa kalsada, because that's also part of what democracy is. No, na kung nagpatuloy ang trial na yon at hindi nausig ang mamamayan na i-express ang kanilang hinaing at ang kanilang demand through protesting, going to the streets, iba sana yung kasaysayan natin. Posibleng nasa posisyon or nanatili sa posisyon yung impeachable officers, po pwedeng na-acquit. So one can think of it as there was an institutional breakdown in the sense that the institution of impeachment was hampered or was tainted because of the actuations of senator judges then. But you can also look at it as a good thing na because it is both legal and political, it's not the only remedy of our people. No, kung tingin nila hindi sila satisfied doon sa pag-handle ng impeachment trial, meron silang kapangyarihan na mag-exact ng accountability at pumunta sa daan para magprotesta at ipahiwatig ang kanilang maigting na saloobin tungkol sa pananatili sa posisyon ng isang mataas na opisyal.
Balikan ko lang, Attorney Michael, yung nabanggit natin kanina tungkol sa resignation, no? Because in a way, it's baffling na marinig, no? Na parang, so essentially, resignation can be used to stop an impeachment trial and in a way, avoid accountability. Tama po ba yung aking understanding? Because if that's the case, doesn't that set a dangerous precedent na ang impeachable official pala ay pwede na lamang mag-resign to at least, if not avoid accountability completely, because as you mentioned, maaari naman magsampa ng kaso, at least to delay, no?
Yes, you can certainly use it, no? But why? But doesn't it accomplish the same purpose, no? Which is kung mag-resign, kasi ba kung ang purpose mo sa impeachment ay magtanggal ng opisyal at nag-resign yung opisyal, natanggal siya sa pwesto effectively dahil sa kanyang sariling kusa, na-achieve mo din yung gusto mong goal, which is hindi na dapat manatili sa pwesto yung opisyal na yan sa lalong madaling panahon kasi meron siyang mga na-commit na impeachable offenses na hindi dapat ginagawa ng isang mataas na opisyal. No, ngayon ang tanong ay, makakatakbo ba siya ulit? Yes. So to your point, yun ang medyo nakakabahala, no? Kasi pwede mong gamitin ang resignation para takasan ang penalty na iyan, no? Kasi kung matitigil ang trial at hindi mai-impose yung disqualification, so wala ding balakid na ikaw ay tumakbo ulit at manalo ulit. Of course, the other cases, criminal cases, plunder, for example, might also mean na mapapatawan ng perpetual disqualification ng isang public official. So, sa ganoong paraan, pwede pa rin ma-impose yung penalty. Pero, yun talaga ang kanyang, some will see it as a danger, some will see it as a feature, no? Kasi, it's a political arena as well, no? So, kasama kasi sa mga institusyon ng konstitusyon ay yung idea na hindi naman lahat ng problema sa political ay nare-resolba ng legal na proceeding. So, kahit na mag-resign ng isang opisyal, nasa kamay pa rin ng mga botante. No? Kung iboboto ba nila ulit yung opisyal na nanilitis at nakita nila ang ebidensya laban sa kanya, ibang problema na yon. Kung iboboto pa rin nila ulit sa harap ng napakalaki at napakatibay na ebidensya ng katiwalian na ginawa ng opisyal na iyon.
If I may add to the discussion, Attorney Michael, no, the difference kasi between an impeachment trial and let's say filing a case against an official, no, ay yung publicity. Isang malaking difference yun. Yung publicity ng pag-unravel ng mga ebidensya, nakita natin yan during the trial of former President Joseph Estrada. It really swayed public opinion during the impeachment trial proper, no? So siguro yun din yung isang malaking implication, no, ng resignation. Mawawala yung element of public, yung public unraveling, kumbaga, ng mga ebidensya.
That's true, no? And I think yun yung pinupunto ng depensa nung inatake nila yung proceedings before the House of Representatives Committee on Justice. Sabi nila mini trial, 'di ba? So sa akin, matalinong move 'yon sa House of Representatives na may posibilidad na o hindi natin alam kung ano ang kahihinatnan ng isang trial sa Senado kasi wala sa control nila 'yon. Pero in their control was the hearing for probable cause so that they can recommend the passing of the articles of impeachment. No? So doon kaya siya inaatake ng depensa na parang naglitis na din kayo ng maliit na paglilitis sa House Committee on Justice. No? So I think doon nag-unravel din. No? Nakita din at ni-report yun ng ating media yung mga nangyari doon. Of course, iba pa rin yung nakita lahat ng ebidensya sa trial. So yes, I agree that we will lose that as well, yung pagiging public ng isang impeachment trial. Pwede pa rin naman yun gawin, for example, in a trial before the Sandigan Bayan, pero may mga limitasyon sa pag-stream, sa pag-video. But I think one point that I have to make is yung ginawa ng House Committee on Justice, klarong-klaro sa kanila na ang kanilang ginagawa. Of course, it can be many things, but one thing that they said was, sinusunod lang namin yung sinabi ng Korte Suprema tungkol sa kung anong ibig sabihin ng due process sa isang pag-initiate ng impeachment proceeding. No? So, yung Korte Suprema, sa kanyang desisyon about due process na napakadaming detalyadong procedure na dapat i-comply ng House, na I think gave way to that as well. No, I didn't agree with that decision kasi hindi dapat over proceduralized ang impeachment because it also has a political nature, but that's the decision that we have and that's the law at the moment. But it also gave way to the unraveling before the House. So in some way, kahit ano man na mangyari dito sa impeachment trial, nakita na din ng publiko, narinig din niyang ibang witnesses.
Another question, Attorney Michael, no, siguro perhaps my last question as well. Well, speculative pa ito, pero may mga bulong-bulungan din of a possible boycott naman ng minority bloc nitong impeachment trial. Should that happen, can the trial proceed?
Yes, I think the trial can still proceed, no? Of course, they can still continue to hear the evidence. The official is still in office and therefore there is a point to the trial. The question then is whether yung makakarinig ba dapat ng ebidensya kung marami sa kanila ang wala sa floor, yun ba ang ini-envision ng Constitution? No, I think that would be a violation of their oath. Kasi nag-oath na sila ng senator judges to do their best, to the best of their ability to comply with the Constitution or what the Constitution demands. And part of that is being present for the trial. I think that's a violation of their oath if they boycott it. But even if they do, magpatuloy yung trial, I think magmamatter lang siya sa botohan na. No? Kasi at the end of the day, kailangan mo pa rin ng 16. So kung wala kang 16 na yes, convict votes, kahit ano pa man ang configuration ng mga hindi nasa 16 tulad ng no or ng abstain, wala ka pa rin 16 concurrence. So, hindi mo pa rin siya convict.
Huling katanungan na lamang, Attorney Michael, no? As a lawyer, ano po yung binabantayan ninyo personally dito sa impeachment trial laban kay Vice President Sara Duterte?
Ako, counterintuitive siguro na sabihin ko na bilang abogado ang binabantayan ko ay na hindi sobrang technical nitong procedure or nitong trial na ito. Alam ko may mga rules of the Senate. In fact, kung babasahin mo yung rules of the Senate, napaka-general ng rules na yun. Hindi siya tulad ng ating rules of court. Yun talaga ang punto nun. Ang punto nito is this is an accountability mechanism. So, the senator judges, if there's a question on admissibility or showing evidence to the public, should err on the side of transparency. No? Na kaya naman sila ang inilagay bilang senator judges at hindi isang huwes mula sa hudikatura dahil hindi dapat ito sobrang technical or over-proceduralized. Dapat ang interest ay kung halimbawa naguhusga ka kung ano bang ibig sabihin ng betrayal of public trust.
Exactly, yeah. Very broad.
Ang perspective mo ay yung public. Sino ba ang nabetray? Kaninong pagtitiwala ba ang nalabag? Ang pagtitiwala ng publiko. So sa mata ng publiko mo dapat tingnan ang mga questions na nakaharap ang impeachment court.
And to piggyback doon sa punto mo, Attorney, no? Because even ako, when I'm reading betrayal of public trust, how do you even measure betrayal? So siguro doon papasok yung judgment naman ng ating mga judges. Okay, maraming salamat po, Attorney Michael Q.
Maraming salamat.